All right, good morning. Welcome to the distribution team pipeline AMA. I just went into the spreadsheet a few minutes ago to take a look at what we had there, and it has not been updated with any new failures. So we don't have much more to go on. We do have a couple open items at the moment. The HA validate nightly looks like that has now been closed. Merge request has been merged. And I'm going to go ahead and move that to closed. If my mouse will work this morning. And I haven't checked on it today, but I know I think it's CNG 605. Last I looked, it had not been merged yet, so I don't think the second issue of the UBI release for certification job failures has been fixed. I take that back. It looks like it has been merged now. So with luck, that one will now be fixed and closed. So we'll leave that open for another day or so just to make sure that we don't have any other. Well, I guess we have to wait till a next patch release to verify it actually is working. And we've got another one going in here. Looks like a failure with CentOS 8. Oh, package size failure. Yes, I saw someone commenting on that yesterday.
Yeah, so this is one that showed up. It started showing up last week. I know myself and Robert started running into it in merge request branches, but then it went away for a little bit. So I thought maybe whatever had changed in Rails master had been cleaned up. But then last night, master actually failed. So I logged the issue. I dove into it. It all looked like legitimate package size increases. So there's an open MR already to bump the size.
All right. Is that not the only real recourse we have? Is just keep bumping the size up?
So this is something that Robert and I discussed earlier this week. So this test failure, this one is specifically for us to do this action, to go in and validate that there isn't like duplicate gems or like source code that didn't get cleaned, like build artifacts that didn't get cleaned up. So this is just kind of
added,
yeah. So this specific test is less about like there being a max file size and more like a function to ensure that when it does jump, that we know why it jumps, type thing.
Makes sense.
But there is a separate conversation about package size in general, but that is actually separate from the test that we do here. That the test we do here isn't specific to there actually being a size that is too big, but rather that we want to make sure that there aren't artifacts getting into the builds, basically, that aren't supposed to be there.
Okay, and that was a secondary question I was trying to have. And I've had it before. I wasn't aware of any, but I didn't know if maybe there was a maximum size to a package.
There is. So there
besides
is
the size of the file system or something.
Yeah, so there definitely is, and there's a known one, and then there's a like nobody really has gotten up that big, so there's some unknowns as well. So the known one is 4 gigabytes, and that's because of FAT32, but that limit is actually built into RPM, for example. The newer RPM that's patched out, but there's still like, if you're still running an old RPM version, it wasn't that long ago. Like it's only been like 2 years since they've removed that limit in RPM, for example. So there is for sure a hard limit at 4 gigabytes
Mhm.
in terms of package size. Our build machines will hit that earlier than our customers because the uncompressed package will likely hit it before the compressed package. But it's probably something we can deal with in the build. But there's a hard limit there. And then also, the bigger it is, the longer it takes to unpack.
Okay. All right. And the other question I would have is, do we know if there's a limit to a Debian package? Any limits on a Debian package?
I do not know if they have the same limitation built in.
Okay.
We do have other, so we do have a limit on like package upload to package cloud, for example, but that's something we can always bump. I think that's set at 2 gigs currently. So we do have additional limits in place, but that can be moved. But package size in general, separate from this pipeline failure, package size is an issue. Large packages take longer to download, particularly on
Sure.
internet. They're hard to unpack, and depending on the file system, they can be extremely hard to unpack. So if you ever, even right now with our current file size, if you try to actually install within Docker on an overlay 2 file system, you'll notice the package takes a long time to install. For our own Docker image, we eat that time in our own builds because we already install it into the Docker image. But for users who are installing a package into a Docker environment manually, the unpacking process is quite long due to the extra computational effort needed for something this big being unpacked onto the overlay 2 file system.
Okay.
And for context, all this information is also going to be captured into a series of issues. I had a discussion with Stephen yesterday, my 1x1, after my conversation with DJ on Monday. And some of this, like, we need to address, as DJ saying, you know, there's a couple problems here, right? There is the problem that, you know, we upload the package size, check the size, but there's also the long-term, what are we going to do about it? So I'm going to be opening up some issues to put that on our roadmap so we can start really digging into that. So I was going to do it yesterday, but I expect yesterday, not here, as noted in the channel. So I'll be taking care of that today. And I'll pop that the link to the issues in the channel this afternoon.
Okay. All right. Good. I think that cleans up, excuse me, addresses everything that's at least in the spreadsheet right now. The only other things I had on the agenda is there a better day to meet? When I was looking to schedule today, you know, was it 2 weeks ago? Everybody's Thursday seemed to be pretty reasonable and could schedule a meeting. This time, everybody, or not everybody, but there were several people that had pretty full schedules on Thursdays. So I was wondering, is Thursdays good to meet? Is it maybe another day is preferable? Or we just keep trying to go as best we can? If anybody has thoughts.
This works fine for me, but I'm flexible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we'll try to just keep it on Thursdays and do the best we can then.
I would throw out a suggestion that
Sure.
what if we tried to alternate this on the opposite weeks of the maintainers meeting, so that Balu can be here as well, because the maintainers meeting is scheduled such that we have the best potential overlap for folks on the team. And I feel like that would be we're already planning on that day. We had been doing that day for the longer team meeting before we shortened it up. So I feel like that's maybe a better slot, because we're all used to it and we already have it done, and it would give Balu more of a chance to get here as well.
Okay.
I still not sure how we can do it. Get Hossein more involved, because just that 13-hour time difference, 14-hour time difference makes it really difficult. But I
Yeah,
would also like to
exactly.
see if we can like have a one-off every now and again to be able to give him opportunity, right? I'd like everybody on the team to have the opportunity to hit it, and I'm willing to stay up at a weird hour,
Yeah, and
once in a while. But
I was thinking about that also. Is probably we'll try to get on the schedule. It seems like we've fallen off of it for team meetings and the coffee chats, but like once a month or once every 6 weeks. Given that this is going to be every 2 weeks, probably it might make sense every 6 to 8 weeks that we do a time that's a little bit better for Hussein, so he can participate. But okay. All right.
I
So
would say we should.
you're saying Monday?
I
That's the
think
old
so.
time slot. The old time slot for the maintainers meeting.
I think so. Does anyone have an objection to that?
So you were meeting Monday, or you were meeting Tuesday on the off weeks of the current maintainers meeting?
Tuesday. I'm sorry. I keep thinking the maintainers meeting is Monday.
Okay.
I don't know. I just go to the meeting when my computer dings at me. So I don't. I'm just thinking put it on the off of the one we already go to, and then that makes it easier and more consistent. Because I find that consistency is good for meetings, because then you can block. I know that Jason and I both do the block thing where we block our times. So putting it where we already expect it, and we just recently went down to every other week, would mean we just go back to every week, but it'd be different content. And so it wouldn't be as much of a change.
Okay. Can certainly do that.
That time slot is okay with me. So the Tuesday morning my time, basically, but on the weeks that we don't have the maintainers meeting.
Okay. And it occurs to me, DJ, I think you put something out there at one point to for people to contact you to get added to that meeting. When you get a moment, can you go ahead and add me to that meeting, as I'm starting to work toward maintainer trainee?
Yeah,
Probably
so
be good to sit in on that.
Yeah, so as of so I can ping Steven, or you can, but as of this upcoming meeting next week, the meeting's been moved from my calendar into the team meeting calendar.
Okay.
But yeah, so you should ping Steven to get
I'll
an
hit
invite.
Steven up. Yep.
But
I'll
you
hit
can
Steven up then.
also, because it's on the GitLab team meetings calendar, you can also go in and copy it to your calendar. So it is now findable
Yep.
for
True.
people, which is
Okay.
what we did. But yeah, be a good idea to ping Steven to get added.
Good to know. Okay. Very good. Thank you. And the only other thing I had was just sort of a question that I heard something a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I don't know. I want to say it was someone made a comment versus me reading it somewhere, that it almost sounded like we either own or we maintain dev.gitlab.org. And so I'm just asking the question, just so there's broader knowledge of what's the real status there. Or do we maintain it? Do we own it? Or what group does?
Yeah, so it is the directly responsible individuals is our team, and let's see. I think so. That should be on in our handbook in the section. It should be on the list of things like responsibilities for the team. It should be one of the items.
Maybe that's where I saw it. I just don't remember where I found the reference or heard the reference.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, in that page, it also mentions like with assistance from the infrastructure team. So it is a machine that's managed by their Chef instance, and it's in a cloud that we don't have. Like, we don't have access to the cloud account. But we do have, some of us have access, SSH access into the machine directly.
Okay.
So the machine can really only be changed by the infrastructure team, but it's more the GitLab instance on it that's managed by us.
Okay.
I guess you could say. So the machine is managed by infrastructure. GitLab software on it is managed by us. It automatically installs the nightlies every night. But if that nightly causes issues, it is our team's responsibility to roll back the version by manually installing the previous nightly, the last working nightly.
Okay.
Typically, that's all. The only two things that usually have to happen on it is when something goes wrong and dev is down, someone from the team rolling back to the previous working, and then prep for major releases, right? So PG upgrades and removing any deprecations and stuff like that. That's typically
that's right.
all that we have to do.
I think I vaguely remember Ian at one point doing that one or something. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that makes sense. That answers my questions, or hopefully answers other people's questions that they didn't know they had yet. That's all I had on the agenda. Is there anything else anybody can think of, or anything else pre brought up concerning our pipelines or questions about our pipelines?
I'm sure I will in the future. Give me another week.
Always welcome. I think I have a section, yes, up on the top of the document. I have a section for upcoming topics, so feel free to put your name and list your question or topic you want to discuss during these meetings. And I just have that as a collection point for gathering topics, so when we look to put the agenda together, we could just either, we have a lot of them, we'll pick and choose which ones. If we only have a couple, we'll just get them all into the next meeting and discuss them.
Sounds great.
Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. And we'll go ahead and close this up and give us at least a little bit of time back. So, all right. Everybody have a great day. Thank you for attending. Bye-bye.
Everybody.